I think it would be remiss to say that cars should have no emissions controls, because we've got to think about people's health and general welfare. But the dial has been turned up progressively tighter every single release of new regulations and guidelines. Let's have a quick overview of the Euro emission standards and how it has affected our cars and our ability to maintain them and keep them on the roads over recent years. The Euro 1, 2 and 3 standards were the first to come out, obviously, and that started with the advent of the catalytic converter. It was fair to say that these early changes were nudges in the general direction to make cars less polluting, particularly to reduce the harmful emissions that they put out that would have a direct effect on people's health. Coming to 2005 to 2011, we now enter the Euro 5 bracket. Cars were more complex, the emissions regulations were far more stringent. We saw the introduction of diesel particulate filters. NOx emissions, nitrogen gas emissions, have been reduced by using the EGR system. The petrol cars came with catalysts, usually 2 catalysts now, and owners have started to realise the problems that come with these emissions regulations. In fact, a lot of these devices that were fitted by manufacturers are only mandated to work for 5 years. And it adds weight, complexity. To meet these tight emission standards, there is very little flexibility. And with an older car, we know we need a little bit of flexibility. They're not as efficient as they are when they were first coming out of the factory. Things have worn. The injectors do not do quite as good a job as they did when they were new. And it's unreasonable, really, to expect an older car to maintain those original emission standards. And we see drivers getting very expensive repair bills because a lot of these devices that have been fitted to cars to reduce the emissions start to fail and require very expensive replacement or have a knock-on effect with other parts. 2014 came along and we entered the Euro 6 era, and that was even tighter. Stricter real-world testing was introduced. Not just the manufacturers have learnt by the Dieselgate emission scandals, the regulators have also learnt to put very specific testing protocols in place that make it very hard for manufacturers to cheat again. SCR, selective catalyst reduction systems, have been set up, which basically sprays urea into the catalyst or into the exhaust stream where the emissions are better controlled and better reduced. Again, adding more complexity and maintenance costs to a vehicle that has got some miles on it. Particulate filters are also introduced to petrol engines. It's not just the diesel engine that had to cope with particulate filters. Thankfully, they're not as problematic on petrol engines as they are on diesels, but there is still potential for things to go wrong, particularly as the engine starts to get old. Replacing a particulate filter or some part of the exhaust gas recirculation system or a catalyst can run into the thousands of pounds bracket. It's very, very expensive to fix these items. And having all of these emission controls on a car really mean the car needs more sensors, more sensitive sensors to pick up on what's happening with the emissions, to regulate the burn that goes on in the engine to meet those emission standards and emissions regulations. And as we all know, when things are more sensitive and calibrated to a much finer degree, there's more scope for things to go wrong. Euro 7 is about to land at the end of the year, and this is even tighter. It's even looking at emissions from tyres as they degrade and brake dust that is emitted. Even electric vehicles are still subject to the very, very tight, stringent emissions 7 regulations. Limits on nitrogen gases that are emitted, particulates and real-world emissions are also dialed down significantly. There is a little bit of leeway. As cars get older, they can go up to, I think it's about 20% more emissions than was mandated when the car was originally new. That's sensible, but we're still talking about extremely tight emission standards. And also, we see a lot of these systems now have a stipulation that they need to last much longer than the original 5 years. Expecting a particulate filter now to last for 10 years or 200,000 miles certainly seems sensible in my view, and it's forcing manufacturers not to cut corners. When the car is outside the warranty period, they don't care. Generally, that's the attitude we get with all these failures that we see and the feedback that we get from our viewers and those on our forum and using our website. And it's just nice to see that the regulations actually stipulate manufacturers have to support the driver with emission systems that will last a decent run of the car's lifespan. We are going to do more of a deep dive in Euro 7 because that is coming up at the end of this year, and it's just good to cover the significant changes that have happened with Euro 7. A lot of drivers are really avoiding Euro 6 onward cars because of the complexity. And the question we have to ask is, does Euro 7 make this better? Or does it make the situation much worse? I'll leave you in the comments to debate that, and then we'll do a video about Euro 7 and take into account all of the feedback that we've received. And I'll do a deep dive on the technology that is being mandated and the new regulations that are coming in for Euro 7. If you've enjoyed this video, please boot the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, and a lot of you haven't, please hit that subscribe button because that does help us to get out there. And I've lined up this video and this playlist that you should find really interesting. Thanks for watching. See you in these next videos.